Hey y'all, welcome back to Bones Backyard Homestead. Today is the third day that I'm actually working in the garage to help my storage solutions, my storage problems. I have a problem in this garage, and part of it is right here at my feet. I have tons of lumber sitting on top of a kayak, and it's not organized. I have no clue what pieces I have, what lengths I have, or anything. And the solution to that problem is right behind me. This plug is right here in my face, and this is annoying too. However, this will get addressed on a different episode. Today, we're going to be focusing on this right behind me. Okay, this is the longest wall in the garage that is accessible and won't cause problems. Now, this wall right here, you see a couple things. I got shelves on either side. I got a pegboard over here. Got my drywall sitting up here, and you probably can't see much of it, but there's a big old cluster right here. All this is going to get changed up. These shelves are going to go away. This pegboard is going to go right behind the miter saw. That way, while I'm working on the miter saw, or working on the drill press, working on the bandsaw, I have a pegboard that I can grab some stuff from. Like I said, the shelves are going to go away. All this clutter is going to have to go away too, because what my plan is for the ultimate layout of the shop is to have my lathe sitting right here in the middle of this table. And then I'll have my lumber probably starting right about here or so, maybe a little bit higher. I mean, I might go a little bit lower on the sides for some shorter pieces, because I do have some shorter pieces. That's the plan. But before we can get started with any of that, we have to clean up. We have to tear apart and do all this kind of stuff. So all right, folks, we are back, and as you can tell, I did a little bit of cosmetic work on the wall just to cover up some of the small holes and some of the small imperfections. Now, just because I kind of want to make this place a little bit more spiffy, I'm going to go ahead and throw a coat of paint up. Now, this will truly be a paint that I cannot tell you exactly what color it is. So this is a Bare Ultra interior semi-gloss enamel, scuff defense, stain blocking paint and primer in one. Basically, this is a manager special. Somebody mixed a batch of gray paint, didn't like it or something, or maybe they returned a completely odd color and they made it into a gray, but this is a gray paint. I have no clue what color it is. Stirred it up and put it on a paint stick. I mean, that probably honestly just looks black right now, but it's gray. It's probably, I don't know, probably like a slate or maybe even darker. So it might darken it up in here, but you know what? I'm willing to take that risk because I kind of do like grays. So we're going to get this started. I'm going to go ahead and probably just do around the perimeter real quick, and then I'm going to break out the roller and roll the edges. So let's just go ahead and put you guys on time lapse, and we're just going to paint this wall real quick. All right, folks, so there we go. We got a coat of gray paint on there. I honestly think it looks stunning in here. It actually doesn't really darken it up too much, in my opinion, especially with these LED lights that I have. And I'll be rearranging these once I insulate the ceiling and put the OSB board up and paint the OSB board white. That'll really brighten it up. That'll be really, I like that. It's almost like an accent wall. So obviously this is going to be more than a one day project. However, with the magic of YouTube, we are going to be right back at it. All right, and just like that, the magic of YouTube, it is the next day. As you can already see, I started working on building the uprights, building the outriggers, whatever you want to call them. And I've had these verticals drying for a while, so now I'm just going to go ahead and put them up. Some of the things I want to talk about real quick is the way I built them. So these are 37 inches long. And what I'm going to do for now is just because I'm just trying to, this is stuff I'm using in the house that I have laying around. And what I'm going to do is, starting from the top, I have a hole drilled in at 10 inches, 22 inches, and 34 inches. Because I want my shelves, show that there, I have the shelves at 8.5 inches, 20.5 inches, and 32.5 inches. And that's gonna, the way that's gonna work is basically it's gonna put me a nice little shelf that's just under the rack here, or maybe just right above the rack. I can still get something up in there and up and out. And I'll probably put, like I said, put longer ones down there, longer ones over here, and maybe I'll leave the center ones out right here. For right now, like I said, just because I haven't left the house for the day yet, I'm gonna go ahead and use 3.5 inch framing screws or construction screws, whatever you want to call them. and I'm gonna go in through that big hole that I drilled. I only drilled it about 1.5 inches deep, maybe 2 inches, I can't remember, but it basically gives me about an inch of bite into the stud behind the drywall. And then what I'll do later, next time I'm out and about, I'll go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever and grab those like 6-inch long lag bolts or whatever, the timber screws or whatever they call them. So we're gonna go ahead and get this put up. What I like to do is I like to use a stud finder to find the studs. Now, you'll see a lot of people use those electronic ones and they beep, 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 beep. I found that using the Stud Buddy is the best and easiest thing I've ever used. I've never had to worry about batteries or did it hit the edge of the stud or the center of the stud. This is basically a big giant magnet. So I come across here, light-handed, and boom, it found a stud. So what it did was it found a screw. Now what you can do is you can go in there, try to find another one there. And there you go. You can mark the tip here and the bottom, go back through. And you can see, like, if you try to, it's going to give you a pretty big area right there. What I like to do is I like to play with it. Eventually, it's going to find vertical. So there's obviously a stud there. Oh, found something. So there you go. Another stud right there. So I'm going to go ahead and go through, mark all my studs, and then we're going to get these anchored in. So let's get at it. So I finally did go out and I went and grabbed those 6-inch SPAC screws, or that's the brand. I don't know if they're basically construction lag bolts, 6-inch long lag bolts. So 3.5 inches went into through the stud, another 2.5 inches. So if the drywall's 1/2 inch, at least 2 inches going into that solid stud. So now these things are completely solid. So my next step is to mount these uprights. Right now, I had just enough screws to put together 6 of these. I got 7 uprights, so I'll be able to go across almost the whole entire top. I did grab more screws while I was out for that, but I got to screw them together and then stain them. So that'll be, continuation of the project again. However, at least I can get this top rack up and get some of this lumber up off the ground and start it from there. I've been looking at the lumber that I have and looking at the way I want to do it. I'm going to go across the whole entire top. Then I'm going to go across the whole entire middle. And then I'm just going to put an upright or a horizontal on these 2 verticals and the last 2 verticals. These middle ones, the middle 3 right here, are not going to have anything on there for now because, like I said, I almost have the lathe right there. And I want to have some room. I want to have some light, so I don't want to block it. So that's the game plan right now. So let's get these horizontals screwed on. All right, folks, so this is going to wrap up this part of the project of reorganizing the garage. This gets a lot of my lumber off the ground, gets me somewhat organized. So what I got so far is I got normal, dimensional lumber up on the top. I got like an extra 2x6, some 2x4s, some 2x2s, just whatever projects that I've kind of wrapped up around the house, and I still have extra pieces laying around, not worth taking back to the store just to get a couple of bucks back. On this shelf I got some rough cut cedar, I got some wingate, I got some padauk, some hickory. Over here on this side, some smaller pieces of cedar. These right here, so these were found in a shed that I used to have on my property. They were up in the rafters, and I'm not sure if the guy was making real rifles. Don't know what style rifle it would be, or if he was making toy rifles or whatever. However, I got plenty of these blanks. Don't know what they're worth. They're solid walnut, about 2.5 inches thick. Pretty good size here. So, whatever you want to say on that, that is interesting. So if you have an idea, leave it down in the comments. I may actually at some point carve some of these up. My thought would be kind of like Roman candle war. Put the Roman candle in there and light it, and then you can just have a little fun with it. But so yeah, got several of those. If they're actually something that somebody might actually really know what they're for and I could sell them to you, let me know. I honestly don't know. So over on that side, those are all basically just pieces that are waiting to be turned into cutting boards. So I just gotta glue them up, turn them into cutting boards. Don't know if I'll go in grain or edge grain on them, but they're right there ready to go. Now, the only thing that's gonna finish up this area right here is I'm gonna go ahead and sand this tabletop down and probably put the same color stain that I did on the uprights, do that on this table. And then when that completely dries, I'll get the lathe set up, and this will be my lathe station. But yeah, that's the lumber rack. I think it really helps clean up the garage. I'm walking around where all this lumber was just sitting on the ground. It was upright a little bit, but now I can move around freely and work right here. I still have to mount the kayak up over in this position. I'm still debating if I actually want to put it up there or not. I'm just trying to figure out, one, how to mount it, and two, how low is it actually going to hang once I mount it. I'd like to get it as tight to the ceiling as possible, but I don't want to sit there and ratchet strap it and crank it up to the roof and then compress it. It had a lot of lumber on it for quite a while, so the bottom of the bow or whatever, the bottom side of it, the keel, I guess, it needs some time to relax and get back to where it was at. So that's obviously sitting right there at the bottom of the camera, so I keep on looking down at it. So that will probably be the next part of this project, is getting the kayak up in its place. And then from there, I know I did talk about the pegboard, the Don't Tread on Me pegboard, putting it right behind the table, or right behind the miter saw. I've completely rethought that plan, because what's the first thing that happens when you start cutting with the miter saw? Dust goes everywhere. If I don't have every single one of those holes filled with pegs, behind that is just gonna become like a solid thing of dust. I don't want that, and I don't plan on putting that much stuff on there. It's kind of more of a, I don't know yet. So I'm thinking it might go on the side where the drill presses are at. Could put a couple different organizers in there for, maybe a couple clamps on there for you when I use the drill press. Maybe find some kind of way to make a peg organizer that has the different drill bits in there, maybe some Forstner bits, different things like that. And that is kind of my plan for that pegboard, is maybe just go on the sidewall there. So please stay tuned. We'll see what will happen on the next episode. Like I said, I'm thinking about doing the kayak. There's still a lot of organization that can happen before we get the homestead to where we actually want it, and get everything organized inside the storage unit as much as possible. So This is really coming together, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you.